With this demo, we're going to take a look at this polar array drawing, which is number 3 in your packet. I'll show you how to do part of the drawing and use the polar array tool to kind of copy it around so you don't have to do everything. So make sure you have your drawing out. You can find that on the Canvas page. Here's CAD Borders if you need it. Here's the remote desktop, and the drawing packet is here. Make sure you start with, again, CAD Borders. Make sure you're saving things to your Google Drive. Here's my Google Drive, my drive. I have a CAD 2 folder where I'm saving all my work. And again, you can load your Google Drive if it's not showing up by using the Drive file stream. I just searched for it. So when starting this drawing, I'm kind of see how I started it here. We're going to start with a big cross, which will be the center of the part. So I'm on construction layer. I'm going to do this off to the side here. I'm just going to go down. Again, it doesn't really matter how long you make these lines. Just don't make them really small. And it should be just one vertical line and one horizontal line. And my big outside circle is going to be 6. So I'll start with that. I can do the inside circle here, which is 2. So I have a 6 diameter and a 2 diameter. So again, when you do those, just make sure you're using the diameter circle. I'm using visible layer. Okay, so this is 6. And then I'll do the 2. There's also another circle that is a 4.5 diameter. That one is, part of it is going to be visible, and then part of it is a center line for the centers of these holes. So when I draw that one in, I'm going to use center layer for now. And that's also a diameter of 4.5. So those are my 3 circles that I'm going to start with. You'll also notice we have to get these 2 circles here. They're each 30 degrees apart. So it's 30, 30, and then 30. So if I was drawing, so the first one, the bottom one here, I can use a 30-degree angle, because if this is 0, I go up 30 and it'll get me this. So I'm going to switch to construction layer. Going to start here in the middle. And again, to do an angle, I have to hit tab. The tab switches back between length and angle. And right now it's at 28 or 20, whatever it is. I'm going to set it to 30. Now the other one, it's going to be 30 plus another 30. So this will be 60 degrees right here. Or if I was going straight up, that'd be 90 minus 30 equals 60. So you got to do a little bit of math to figure out the angle. So I go from here again. I'm going to hit tab, 60. So now I have the location of each circle. It's going to be the intersection of the green and the purple lines here. Both of those circles are a 1/2 inch diameter. 1/2 inch diameter is 8 of them. But I'm not going to do all 8 of them. I'm just going to do 2 of them. And I'm going to polar array the other ones. So a diameter, 0.5. And another diameter, 0.5. We also want to get this feature in. This is called a keyway. The size of that is a 1/4 inch by a 1/2 inch, so a 1/2 inch wide, and then a 1/4 inch this way. And that one is at 45 degrees. So these were 30s. This is right in the middle, so it's 45 degrees. So that's the first thing I need to do is I'll switch back to my construction layer, grab a line. Now I need an angle that goes out 45. So again, hit tab, 45. Now I have the center of that keyway. And another thing I could do is I could use offset here. This would be a good spot to use offset, because right now I'm at the middle. I know that it's a 1/2 inch wide. So I could set this offset to 0.25. So I go 0.25 this way and 0.25 that way, and I'll get each side. So I'm basically copying or offsetting that line 0.25 each way. So offset is O, enter. Distance is going to be 0.25, enter. I click the 45-degree angle I did, and I want to go to the right. Click it again and go to the left. So now I have the 1/4 inch or the 1/2 inch space now. And then the other half of the keyway is a 1/4 inch. So I got to go this way, 1/4 inch. So I have the line, but it's a lot longer than a 1/4 inch right now. I got to make it exactly 1/4 inch. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch actually to visible layer now. Grab a line, and I got to zoom in. I'm going to turn my snap. Right now it's jumping around, so I'm going to turn my snap off to help me get right into this point. See, I have two intersections here. Make sure you're getting the correct one. This one on the left is for that 30-degree circle. We don't want that one. We want this one here. And then I'm going to go up this way. Just make sure you're getting it in the correct direction. See, right now I'm at 1.2678. I want that to be 1/4 inch. So I'm going to type in 0.25, enter. And then I'm going to go this way, perpendicular. And then I'm going to go back down 1/4 inch and just connect it. And again, to get that perpendicular, you have to make sure that that O-snap is turned on. Here's your O-snap settings here. You want perpendicular on as well as these other ones. All right, so I have the holes, I have the keyway. Another feature we need to get is like these little cutouts here. Those cutouts, it looks like it's 15 degrees. So it's 30 total. It's 15 this way and then 15 that way. So I'm going to, for this one, I'm going to keep it on visible layer because part of that is going to be on that layer. We want to keep it. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to do this one that's in this area. So I go this way. This one's easy. Just hit tab, 15. Now going the other way, because I'm in this negative quadrant, you'll notice it's at, like right here, I'm at 0, and we just got to check our numbers here. See, it's just going positive this way. So as long as you're in this bottom, if I'm up here and I type 15, it'll go 15 that way. But if I'm down here, again, I just got to hit tab. I can type in 15 again, and it'll get me 15 that way. And you can always double check by using an angular dimension. This to this should be 30. And here I can actually trim a little bit too. I want to trim. I'll keep this circle, and I'm going to get rid of this outside. I'll also trim again to keep the two angled lines and get rid of this part. Now the other thing I got to do is we got to go back to this circle here. Part of that circle is center lines and part of it is visible. So we have to kind of clean a few things up here. You can see in the drawing here that, this part of it is going to be visible. This part will be visible. This will be visible. But where the circles are, that's your center line. So what I'm going to do is I'll do trim again. I'm going to actually trim out the center line part of it. And then I'm going to redraw the 4.5 diameter circle now again a second time. But this time I'm on visible layer. So 4.5. It just kind of covered up the center line, but I want to trim one more time. So TR, enter. This is a little bit tricky figuring out what you got to trim. I'm going to keep the two angled lines again. But now I want to get rid of that visible line. So the big circle that I just drew on the visible layer, I just trimmed all of it except for this little part right here. And now what I can do is I can actually trim one last time here, keep this, and now I want to get rid of this and get rid of that. So it's a little work to kind of get that little notch cut out of there because you're on two different layers and you have to, trim it right. But now I have it. It's these three lines here. Okay, so at this point, I think what I'm going to do is turn off my construction layer, just kind of see where I'm at with this. That's looking pretty good. Now, your options here is you could do all that again. Take the time to do all that again, or we can use a tool called Polar Array to help me copy it. The Polar Array tool is, if you click this, it's a modify tool. If you click the rectangular array, the arrow next to it, you can find Polar Array. And if you take a look at the example here, it shows a table, a circular table, and they want to copy that chair around the table. So they put one chair in there and they copied the rest. That'll work perfect for this. So I'm going to click polar array. You can also type in array and hit enter, and select your object. So either way. But yeah, the first thing you're going to need to do is select objects. So you got to select what you want to array. So I want to array. I'm going to do two different arrays. I'm going to do the circle and the keyway, and then I'll come back and do the notch. So I'm going to do. So I need to select these 3 lines for the keyway, and I got to select each circle. And I'm going to hit enter. And yeah, I want polar. Center point, very important. You got to specify a center point. That's going to be right at the middle of the circle. And here you'll see it. It's set. That's the default setting. Obviously, we don't want 6 items, and we gotta edit the settings here. So we got to figure out. Right now, it's set to 6. Well, if we take a look at this, well, we already did 2 of them. This kind of counts as 1. We have 1 quadrant here. So we actually want 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that counts as 2. You might think it's 8 because we have 8 holes, but this is really considered 1 because we did both of them at once. So we want to set the polar array to be 4. So right now it's at 6. I'm going to switch it to 4, and I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to close array. Look at that. It's all done. It arrayed everything for me. It copied it over. Perfect. What else I can do is I need to also array this. So I need to do it one more time. Select objects. Hit enter. I want polar. Specify my center point again. Same thing. It defaults to 6. I want to change that to 4. Hit enter. Close array. Now, last thing you're going to need to do is a little bit more trimming. In order to trim, if I click on my arrays, you'll notice that it selects everything. Like it's all one thing now. So what you want to do is select both of the arrays, and you want to explode them so that you can trim them. And what explode does, it kind of breaks it back up into individual objects. Like right now, I click on this. I just want to click this one circle. I click the circle, though, it clicks everything. It clicks the entire array, including the keyways. So I want to explode that. So I also click this. Explode is right here. So I click that. Then I hit enter. Oh, actually, it's good. It should be exploded now. If you know you exploded it, if I click this circle now, it just selects that one circle. So now I can trim a little bit more. And I'm going to do a TR enter, which is the quick trim. I want to get rid of this. I got to get rid of these inside pieces. And I think that is pretty good. So it looks like it's trimmed out nice. Part is done. I have my center lines where the center lines need to go, and I have the visible lines where the visible lines need to go. So in the next video, we will see how to kind of clean this up, finish it up, and dimension it, and put the center lines on.